Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum to your audience. You're listening to the discussion aisle, and I'm your host Shohaib bin Noor, only on Plant FM 87.6. And dear audience, as always, we are with a special guest on our special channel, and especially your special show that is the discussion aisle. And dear audience, as we always try to narrate and always try to conduct a program that have a public interest, and today we are also able to get a new program with a new style, and of course, a guest. You are very well known and eminent personality in our studios. That is Dr. Sobia, and she's a clinical psychologist, a renowned one. And if you are in Islamabad and you have attended different conferences, seminars, and events, you found her there. And she has always been very, keen, and she's very updated about the psychological trends. And today, what we are going to discuss, we are going to discuss about the climate change and what is the impact of climate change and weather patterns on our mood, and what are the psychological impacts. We are going to discuss that, and what is the correlation between the climate change, weather patterns, and our mood disorder. So today we are going to discuss that, and that's why the eminent personality and of course a dominant one, Dr. Sobia is in our studios. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for the great words and for having me. Definitely, it always encourages me because Radio Pakistan connects to my heart since 2015, I think, since long after Planet. And there are so many you people are working on different things, and voice should be reached to the community.
Exactly.
And that's the motive. And today's topic is really wonderful because you streamlined this topic to the edge that Sobia, we should discuss this.
Exactly.
Being a psychologist, I really understand that each and every moment of our life really impact when environment is comfortable. When we have some AC, some fan, or even in cold we have some warmth feeling, then we feel comfortable to do work. And
Right.
when environment is not fine, we always feel agitated because our body needs some level of temperature. In the world, what we are seeing, right, there are so many changes going on. That's why environmental changes in under the radar of each and every country. If we'll discuss about SDGs, SDGs talk about specifically the health, pollution, education, marine life, water life, every. But the all SDGs, the level of goals of developmental in the life of human being is really prioritized when climate and environment is fixed and fine.
Right.
And every person in every country is conscious about it.
Right.
Every country largely doing work and focuses, like all of people are zooming in that how we will fix our climate. We need to save our mother, that is our earth. Why is this going on? Everything, as you said, that climate change, that word always trigger, but it how it impacts on mood and well-being, it's largely we'll see that it largely impacted right now. And there is a direct relationship. It's not only the indirectly things are going on. Directly, our climate, our environment, our pattern of seasons impact. In psychology and psychiatry, we usually say that there are the disorder SAD, seasonal affective disorder, is basically characterized on the basis of when the climate is going down and people are in specifically in a cold weather. We'll see depression in the overseas or different European countries where snow and white weather is very much.
Right.
There are the condition of serotonin low level is available. Like people are suffering with this disorder. But when the high temperature, they are also suffering. They get not they did not get into the sad feeling, but they agitated. They get violence. They get aggressive. So we'll see. We usually see on road what the condition is right now going on.
You are much right. And as the temperature rises, and when we see the atmosphere is becoming hotter and hotter, we see the moods of people, especially on the roads. They keep on having some fights on a small
Little.
notes. Exactly. And small incidents. They have which started with exchange of verbal comments, and then it turns into a
Physical
aggressive
abuse.
fight. How do you see this, and why does it happen? How we can't control that?
So human being actually उर्दू में कहा जाता है खुदा ताला ने बनाया है इंसान को किसी लेवल्स के साथ. So it's everything happens when we'll not, as a human being, as a collective approach, will not build things are better in the situation. Human nature is actually connected with the things that environment having 26 temperature. We usually say that body temperature is 28, 26.
Right.
These are the levels. Everything level wise. But when level increases, when level we say that the temperature level is getting up, we'll say he's having temperature. Yes, she's having temperature. So your physical, body is telling you the temperature is not fine. So everything going inside in your mind. When a person is getting aggressive, he say, "गरम क्यों हो रहे हो? इतने hot क्यों हो रहे हो?" नहीं, मतलब ये सारी की सारी चीजें what we are doing, it's interconnected. Because our body needs some kind of temperature, our body needs some kind of environment, some patterns of changes around us that is making comfortable. And we are not comfortable. When we are not comfortable, that gets into the disruption form of your physiological processes, your psychological processes. As we usually say, when you are having heart rate high, when you are having, when a person is having exposure toward heat, what he feel? He feel hot.
Right.
He feel rising of temperature. His body is trying to prevent from the hotness. But because right now we have temperature of up to 50, heat stroke, heat waves, everything going on. Because of the high temperature, we try to balance with some kind of water splash. We try to comfort our body with some of water intake, some vitals, any nutrients or electrolytes we take to mobilize our body to work up to the available temperature. But the major thing what we need to do in climate pattern of collective approach. As in our country right now, I belong to Kotli Abad Kashmir. I usually say the fireworks in the jungles, in the forest, what's it going on? People are trying to, whenever it's smoking, a little spark create a big disaster.
No doubt.
What is happening right now, and it's not the big disaster, it is damaging our property. It is damaging of our natural climate, our insects, even our birds, everything.
Ecosystem. Exactly.
All. So what is happening in at home as well, when we have load shedding problem in our home, even we can't sleep because our body needs some temperature to go to sleep.
Right.
Our food pattern disturbed, our relationship disturbed. Even we always aggregate with the small things. As you said, on the road, it's not happening on the road.
Exactly.
Even at home, we don't talk when we have a high temperature.
Right.
We say, "Garmi hai. Please मुझसे बात ना करो." We sweat.
Exactly.
We agitate. We feel uncomfortable. So this is directly linked with the mood. Our climate patterns is specifically with the basic needs. Our sleep get disturbed. Our food patterns get disturbed. Our relationship get disturbed. Relationship in the sense we don't talk. We try to avoid. Our occupation get disturbed. When the environment is not comfortable in any company, as we are sitting in this hall right now, and I really appreciate the government of Pakistan and definitely your team that temperature is normal. Normal in the sense that we can breathe properly, we can feel comfortable, we can talk.
Okay.
That's why we feel happy.
Right.
Your happiness directly connected with the climate change. And we will see our earth as a major. The forest is going fire. We are polluting our seas. What we are doing, we are polluting our whole ecosystem.
Right.
This is our contribution into it. That's why this is not given by God actually. Allah Pak, this is all of us.
Right.
Even we usually not clean our street. So everything is connected. We think that we are individual. Earth, fire, water, we are I usually say in wellness programs and in wellness, well-being, when people are talking about well-being, that how well, I usually say we are the part of this earth. We are not individual.
Right.
We are part. हमने वापस उसी मिट्टी में जाना है ना.
Right.
That's why this the whole खुदा ताला make दरख्त बनाए, हवा बनाई, पानी बनाया, everything for us. Because these are the all connected with us. So climate change, I am just detracting, but definitely it is connected. That's why I'm
Exactly.
discussing.
No, you have built a very good correlation among human and the ecosystem.
Yes.
Right.
So what our behaviors, our action, even our words. I was just watching some of programs where some of our anchor is saying that some of franchisee companies trying to find out about Hutbatal Vida
Yeah.
Huzur Pak Sallam ka. I don't know it's a validate news or not,
Exactly.
but now world is telling you through research that everything is hanging in the world. Your voice, your residues, whatever हम जब गल सड़ जाते हैं तो वो connect होते हैं, that's so everything is connected. Why we are always talking about that genes are transferred and they individuality and the genes transformation and habits, everything is connected.
Right.
That's why as a family we recognize each other. So what I wanted to connect over here, that the voices is, अगर हुजूर पाक सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की वॉइस को कैप्चर करने की कोशिश की जा रही है तो इट्स इतने सालों के बाद तो देयर इज इन द वर्ल्ड वी आर डूइंग गुड और बैड, इट्स हैंगिंग समवेयर.
Exactly. Right.
Means our ecosystem is getting polluted with our deeds as well.
Exactly.
So what we are doing, we are getting aggressive. Even one spark of aggression creates a 12 minutes of disaster in mind. How we can say that we are, this is not my contribution in the climate change. Your words travel through
Right.
waves and it travels into the body. We are always polluting our body system and capturing from the hour. I usually when I'm trying to tell my client that please be positive, and how you will be positive when you grab positive patterns of thinking, because सोचों के निजाम के साथ you are connected, and he or she is, when he is unable to, क्लाइमेट चेंज के हवाले से साइकोलॉजिस्ट से पूछेंगे तो वो ऐसे ही लिंक करेंगे बिकॉज दिस इज पैटर्न. बट आई एम सेइंग एंड आई रियली अंडरस्टैंड दिस सब्जेक्टिव टेक्निक्स. I usually tell him that be positive. When you will be positive, your climate and your environment be getting positive and you feel comfortable.
That's all right.
So the whole ecosystem built as a human being with the wellness and well-being, it's everything is interlinked, and a person should be take role. मैं कहती हूँ 17 साल का 15 साल का बच्चा, he or she must be in the stage of the level where he should recount the contribution of him, how he's contributing into the society, even in the family.
You're much right. And as you were just talking about that, the environment matters, atmosphere matters.
Yes.
And when we want some relaxation, we try to have a picnic on a beautiful
Yes.
spot, whether it's mountain,
Natural spot.
exactly,
We
natural
usually
spot.
go in the
Yeah,
natural
some parks,
place.
in some forests. So what kind of an impact is that? What do you think that, what kind of cells or hormones that triggers and changes our mood in that situation?
Life right now is going not in our country, like developing country, we are just going for developed and developing things, but in developed countries they are transitioning, going back to their organic forms. They are
Right.
transitioning. Our body is made up of four fires, like water, earth, soil, air. These are the four main elements of our
Exactly.
creation of everything. So what is soul? Definitely that directly connect with our God. So what is happening in right now situation, we are detaching and we are totally dependent on the very materialistic things that's our man-made. And in digital era we are only realizing that definitely from this panel, but we are going through digital way. But when the excess is going on, we always go back to our nature. Our body needs nature contact. You are saying what hormones, what things really appeal or attracts us. Even when we early in the morning, when we see a green thing, that gives us a refreshing eyes. Right? Usually what we do in our room, we give a pot, we place something very beautiful, plant. But when we go back to the natural beauty, our body needs nature. I just share you a very recent experience of we were in Diosai,
Sure.
right? Or there is suddenly the snowfall, मोटा जो नहीं होता, ओला से भी थोड़ा सा छोटे साइज का, there is going on and everything trying to just hold and डर जाना जैसे कहते हैं ना, but because मैं पहाड़ी लड़की कहती हूँ मैं अपने आप को, because कश्मीर से, so I really experience that moments जो वो मुंह पे गिरता है, that makes me so calm. And definitely the people who are connected with nature and those whose upbringing from nature, they realize this thing, that why we get happy, and the happiness hormones really generates when we contact with nature. Nature is not only the अच्छी हवा लेना, refreshing हवा. Why the concept of billion trees and everything? They give oxygen to us. When we go to the park, we feel happy because open environment. Human being, our kids like to play outside. But we, because of safety and security issues, what we'll do? No, please sit here, play with it. What we do? We are disrupting eco of inner being, and inner being disturbances started, and then we save under the four wall, and we'll say no, मैं बैठ जाना नहीं पसंद करता, and we are generating these kind of generation. But because of something, मैं हमेशा उर्दू में कहना इसलिए पसंद करूंगी कि देयर आर लेडीज, मैं उन्हें कहती हूँ, जो बात करती हूँ मैं उन्हें कहती हूँ अपने बच्चों को अपने साथ लेके जाएं, साथ लेके जाएं. दैट्स हेल्प यू एज मदर, एज पेरेंट, एंड दैट हेल्प्स यू एंड द रिलेशनशिप बाउंडिंग. व्हाट विल डू, हम कहते हैं हमने 24 घंटे काम करना है, हम ऑफिस भी कर रहे हैं, ये भी कर रहे हैं, 15 मिनट 20 मिनट अगर वो जो आप निकालेंगे ना, दैट हेल्प्स यू टू कनेक्ट विद ईच अदर. It's not only for his health, it's for your health. Because our ecosystem, even usually I used to say, try to connect, like nowadays, there are people are every good, मेरे पास AC नहीं है, मेरे पास हवा नहीं है, everything, we are complaining, right? Load shedding का मसला and everything. That's definitely, there are some realistic things that needs to be worked, but there are things where we need to build our body. Our body is getting so much pampering. We are hesitant for every exposure. Even हम लाइट नहीं ले सकते, हम ज्यादा देख नहीं सकते लाइट को, मॉर्निंग में उठ नहीं सकते सब. So there is a system that needs to work with your vital system, as usually say in your sleep pattern. When you sleep in a dark night, serotonin high, and with help the melanin release hormone, like there are vitals going on at the night, but we disrupt that thing, and our wellness, our well-being disrupted and disturbance. That's why we are saying depression is going on, sleep pattern is going on, anxiety is going on, our wellness is disturbed, we are not happy with anything. We are getting agitated. So the better thing, when we need to give exposure to the nature. हम दरख्त को मैं, if I take the example of my 10 participant and I'll say कितना टाइम में दरख्त को देख सकते हो, with the 8 second 4 second, because they are not receiving that, they always appeal with the some kind of the tangible movable, this is, हम सुकून में नहीं जा पाते. That's thing actually, हम समझते हैं 24 घंटे 4000 की सीसी पे चलना हमारी जिम्मेदारी हो चुकी है. Although this is not the fact. That's why we'll see इतनी vehicles, इतनी ज्यादा rushing, इतना ज्यादा climate को pollution जो level पे ले जाए. It's our demand actually. Human being understand in the reverse way that this is my health. And the people who are having the real education on the health and wellness, they are going back to their basics. घड़े से पानी पीना पसंद कर पा रहे हैं, वो फ्रिज का पानी नहीं पी रहे. So what is ecosystem? Ecosystem support us. But what we are doing, we are actually somehow we are deteriorating. We are not contributing healthy patterns wise. हम अपनी माँ के साथ, मैं माँ इसलिए कह रही हूँ कि that's giving us everything. Earth. We are not actually justifying on any level. गंद जहाँ होता है फेंक देते हैं, किसी तरह का भी pollution. Why polio is not actually, I'm just figuring here and there, because everything is connected with health.
Exactly, so right, you're right.
Why polio have different destigmatized reached, but when we'll see in a stool में जाता है, stool में जाके वो किसी न किसी के मुंह में जाता है, फिर पोलियो ट्रांसफर होता है, पूरा इसका चेन. We are not that much hygienic.
You're right.
Our sunnah, the basic example of the basic, deeds transferred by our Hazur Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, we are not perceiving it. We are not practicing it. खाना खाने से पहले खाने की दुआ का जो पढ़ना, I practiced it myself. पानी के ऊपर दुआ का पढ़ के पीना और इस रेजिड्यूज के साथ कि कहीं कोई बैक्टीरिया कोई जर्म होगा, पानी सुनता है आवाज. It's living thing. Water is living thing. Why always reciting is promoted by our Islam? Because water, food is listening to us, because इस dump में, इस दोज़ख में हमने डालना है उसको. If we are not purifying with the different waves, it will go into our stomach, damages us. और वो फिर environment में जाता है. That's channel, whole system. If we circle this whole health being channel, it's all going on in our own practices, small practices. We are damaging. We are not connecting. Being a therapist, not only being a human being, I feel that we are the biggest culprit of this whole, हम कहते हैं सारी जिंदगियों के generation में से इस generation को देखा जाए, we are damaging. That's why we are getting irritated. It's not only the climate. Internally, we are having heat waves. Right. We are transferring, and that वो volcano बनते हैं और throw करते हैं और damage.
Exactly. You're so right. What a beautiful example of spirituality, and even you're much right. If you want some kind of reward, we think that I'll get some reward or so up. The people who are just distributing cold water or some kind of sabil on roads, whether they are also feeling the same heat, but there is a passion, there is a I may say there is an element of sawab, and they don't feel that heat. Why is that?
Their belief system and their mindset, that works there. When they walk in an extreme high temperature, and they feel that they are in julus, any majlis, any rally, that there is a spiritual leader, exact अच्छा वाला leader, हमारे वाले leader, थोड़े से जो है कम. So when leaders come out, their mindsets comes, and when mindsets comes, you can do any work. Why a person in the cave, like हम कहते हैं ना वो जो कोयले की canes होती हैं या कोयले की कानें होती हैं.
Coal mines,
What people are, they have the residual and they have the mindset that this is money for my kids. They go into it, they don't feel any suffocation, they work day and night, and they come back. Although later on side effects comes out, definitely, but with the mindset, everything revolves around your mind, how you are receiving and how you are perceiving. If someone recently, just I have just given therapy to one of my clients who's having some childhood bad experiences. I said, just making 2 imaginary baskets. One is the basket who is holding, even traffic light rule I also teach, that garbage, and one is the khushbu wala package, the good memories, and try to put, and always keep a notepad in yourself, because you and I age, actually we always reward with the writing things.
Right.
We feel good. We don't rely on this. The generation after Gen, they actually relying on it, but we don't. So everything must be comes in practice. If you are thinking on patterns, try to streamline on something that will help you to just innerly. When you innerly feel happy, temperature doesn't affect you much. Although affect you, it doesn't mean it doesn't affect you, but it not affect you much. हम हर चीज environment पे डालते हैं, climate पे डालते हैं, और आजकल की सब लड़ाइयाँ जो चल रही हैं, तुम्हें पता नहीं है गर्मी है. Right. We usually say, ये पता नहीं है गर्मी, सबको पता होती है. But important चीज, the thing we need to remind ourselves where we need to come. Our contribution would be the best when we'll hold and try to disperse positive vibes into the community. That will calm down the temperature actually. आग लगी हुई है वहां पे, ठीक है, and you are trying to तेल डालो. हम everyone is contributing like this.
Very fortunate. Yeah.
So
You're much right, and indeed, it's a different topic, dear audience, and you must be enjoying that. And Dr. Sobi, I just want to know, as you were just talking about that, we are correlated. We are
साइकोलॉजिस्ट सोबिया
connected.
सोबिया कहें ताकि लोग सर्च भी करें.
Yeah.
Right.
Everyone knows you, and you are
Yeah.
right now an eminent personality, a famous one.
Thank you.
And what do you think that how we can develop some things, some mechanisms, and what are the best practices that we need to adopt to overcome all these situations?
Start from home and start from ourselves. Each and every person have responsibilities. Sometimes we always blame the system. We
Right.
always blame the others.
Hmm.
I always reject this idea, and I as a human being, practice this idea. What and how you can contribute. Start on these pattern. When you will start on these pattern, you can add somehow little bit a positive thing into the addition of the system of community.
Hmm.
Because when we are always looking toward the other's hand, we don't find bread. हमें खुद कमाना पड़ता है.
Yeah.
Everything we are doing, we should be take responsibility. First thing. Second thing, we should contribution in a positive manner. I am not saying that बिल ज्यादा हो गए हैं, महंगाई ज्यादा हो गई. Everything is realistic. Definitely we need. या तो यहाँ रहो, survive करो, या यहाँ से बाहर जाने की सकत रखते हो तो चले जाओ.
Right.
I don't want brain drain actually. I want कि good people must practice here. Definitely, who will come here and work here? You people and I.
Exactly.
We are the survivor, and these people who are in our high ups. Time आएगा ना. And time it's in the larger way. We don't think as in positive. We always go in a negative manner. As a nation, we always pick the critical idea and the complicated and वो जो spices वाला idea always we highlight and post and promote that idea. वो 95% खवातीन जाहिल हैं. What is going on?
Right.
We are the light people. We always definitely that's a bad. And if we are promoting, everyone knows कि हाँ 95% 95% खवातीन ऐसे हो चुकी. So we should not promote these kind of ecosystem.
Agreed.
Where negativity, where blame game, where we are only pointing our five finger toward the other main other institute. We should not do. We just try to focus on individual approach, contribution into the community. We as a human being, we are one, but on the contribution level, our individual role matters. I think this should be at the climate changes. If you're even जिस गली में मैं रहती हूँ कश्मीर में, whenever I go, I try to कि गठे हो जो सफाई कर लेते हैं. It's not the big deal.
Exactly. Right.
We हम ना अंदर की सफाई कर पा रहे ना बाहर की सफाई. And our climate में सबसे बड़ा सफाई का element खराब है.
No.
Internationally, जितनी companies and everyone is working to just clean it up. They are trying to clean it up. Because कहीं पे फायर फैलता है, कुछ फैलता है, अगर कुछ कूड़ा करकट पड़ा है वो जल्दी पड़ता है, वो जल्दी चीजें फैलती हैं. So there are so many things on the health level to climate level. Everything matters, everything is connected. अपने level पे whatever you can contribute, you try to contribute. If you can't plant up, definitely लोग कहते हैं ना पौधा लगाओ. If you can't, say a positive thing to the environment. This environment can be built. Then it can impact on well-being, because it's not only the Asian countries, everywhere violence is there, aggression is there, ego is there. किसकी जंग लड़ रहे हैं हम? इंसान को तो खड़े होने के लिए 2 कदम चाहिए होते हैं. कंट्रीज की क्यों है? It's a ego. We want everything in our cover. This is the human psyche. The instinct of those who is not the positive one. हम कहते हैं ना एंजल की ट्रेड्स को हाई करो. I usually call my son that please promote your angel and try to stop to build your devil. And he always said me, Mommy, I need your help to just cultivate my angel. And that's a big small practice, but I know he must have. It's not an angel of the वो एक ऐसा फरिश्ता आएगा. Angel is a good thing, whatever good, wherever you feel comfortable. So we need as a nation in our kids to build good things. That is the only solution. Usually क्या मजाकरात से चीजें चलती हैं. I usually say ख्यालात से चीजें चलाओ. ख्यालात पॉजिटिव रहेंगे तो you can easily ये जो तपश आ रही है ना, गर्मी आ रही है, या ये हमारे से पहले हमारे आबाद दाद कर भी गए, हम भी कर रहे हैं. दैट्स अ कॉम्बिनेशन. वो साइड इफेक्ट आएंगे. वी नीड टू हमने सन एक्सपोजर लगाना है, वाटर हाइड्रेशन करनी है, इंडोर रहना है, क्लाइमेट को थोड़ा बेहतर करना है, अपनी बिजली को ज्यादा जाया नहीं करना. देयर आर सो मेनी थिंग्स वी नीड टू डू. सो एज एन कलेक्टिवली वी नीड टू डू. गवर्नमेंट की बिल्डिंग में हम हैं, एसी चल रहा है, बाहर चले जाते हैं, एसी तो चल रहे हैं. वी फील कि ये हमारा तो खर्चा नहीं, हमारे बाप का जाता है. These are our practices.
Exactly.
And where AC is working, definitely AC अंदर हवा दे रहा है, बाहर में कितना डैमेज क्रिएट करता है.
So right.
We don't think these small things actually. We always I usually call my client that मेरे पास कोई एलियन स्ट्रेटेजी नहीं है, इसलिए पहले सोच ले कि आपने ट्रीटमेंट कराना है. I always think and I always suggest the basic skills of life, daily lifestyle modification. So that helps a client to easily restore his relationship, regenerate his body mechanism, because everything rotating around the malpractices of our own and हमने जो बाहर से ग्रैब की होती हैं. Usually people ask, Sobia, how you can be calm very much? We say internal world is calm. अंदर सुकून है तो बाहर दे पा रही हूँ, अंदर सुकून ना हो तो मैं तो I can't work. So it needs practices. It's not the only thing कि एक talk सुनिए and you can easily grab the idea. You need to understand the exact human. हमें गाड़ी बड़ी चाहिए, हमें everything we need definitely. ऐसा नहीं है. I usually say, I don't know, आप कहेंगे शोएब साहब के सोबिया कहाँ से कहाँ जाती है, but definitely this is related to my core of my heart, that people are striving for those things. Later on they feel regret on it. They sit for hours and hours to earn money, and then they go for their constipation because वो ज़्यादा देर बैठे रहे हैं, properly mobilize नहीं किया body. What is going on? We don't think.
We are damaging ourselves.
Yes,
Yeah.
we are damaging. That's why our ecosystem and our climate. There are so many disaster. In our disaster, I worked as an natural disaster counselor. So in disaster, there are so many things going on in your life. Those people who even कहते हैं नंगे पैर नीचे नहीं चल सकते, उन पैरों को कितनी दफा चलते देखा है. People have strength और वो चलते easily mobilize करते हैं. Those have strength. Natural disaster के time भी there are so many things happen. They lose their property, they lose their relationship, they even die sometime. There are so many disasters, and they try to comprehend. Human being की instinct के अंदर है कि वहाँ वो तैरता अपनी बॉडी को देखेगा, यहाँ पे उसे भूख लगेगी, वो पहले साथ साथ खाएगा कि पावर आए और वो वहां से उसको लपक के लाए. क्लाइमेट चेंजेस में ऐसे ही हो रहा है. व्हाट्स गोइंग ऑन? एक मर जाता है, दूसरे दिन में आपने फिर सर्वाइव करना है. We need to rebuild our survival instinct. There is an example. I actually connected everything. That's why I'm sharing. Yesterday, there is an example. मैं अपने बच्चे को स्विमिंग के लिए लेके जाती हूँ. तो I was trying to swim, and the lady asked me, "What is the style of this swimming?" I said, "This is a survival swimming style." And she get really much impressed. What is this? I said, when I was in village, I used to swim from this side of Darya, the river, to that side of river for my schooling. So I learned that style. This is a survival because I need to go to school.
Exactly.
I did not learn in the swimming pool. So she said, this is very nice. Survival instinct, because I need to keep it up myself to learn. So there are so many things comes up in life where you learn things, and that things comes up in a very fancy style. Lime water वही रहता है, लेकिन जब लींबू के साथ लगा के दिया जाता है, that fascinates us. We always want this.
Right.
And I just gave an example to my elder colleague, that Dr. Imran. I said, Dr. Imran, दलिया हम घर पे भी खाते हैं, लेकिन जो मैरियट में जाके दलिया खाया जाता है, that fascinates us.
Agree.
So we demand high-ups, but we don't work on it. As a human being, for climate changes, we need to work on the very, very small chunks of our life from the individual side to nation wise, then this ecosystem will be established and we can easily breathe. Even upcoming studies are saying कि हमारे पास ऑक्सीजन ही नहीं होगी, ट्री जो कट चुके हैं, डिफॉरेस्टेशन इतनी ज्यादा हो चुकी है. सो व्हाट वी नीड टू डू, वी नीड टू, every country is thinking on very good parameters, but our country is, we are stick with something. The stick, as I say, that we always stick in the negativity with the government, with the system, with the, definitely government have responsibility in everything, but we know and we need to accept this thing. Government will not do anything for us. They are actually struggling for their own things.
Exactly, right. They should be our social responsibility.
Social and civilian responsibility, civil responsibility. We are actually, we forget our civil responsibilities. We forget our even as a social being responsibilities.
Right.
That making us in a very chaos. We are getting restlessness. We are having depression, and there are so many. That's why if a person is in a heat stroke, people goes in our community, माशाल्लाह अभी तक हम इतने खुददार लेके जाते हैं, पानी भी देते हैं, सब कुछ करते हैं, बट वो 2 मिनट बाद जब बैठा हुआ उसका देखते हैं तो हम कहते हैं सीडो, हत्ता कि साइड इफेक्ट्स उसके बरकरार रहते हैं. साइड इफेक्ट में उसकी जो वेलनेस होती है कि मैं किधर हूँ, उसको कोई नहीं बताता. दैट नीड्स टू बी मैनेज. हम अभी उस होशो हवास की स्टेज में आने के लिए हमें रिक्वायरमेंट चाहिए. डोंट थिंक के एक बंदा हेल्दी वे में सामने बैठा है तो इज वेल, इज नॉट वेल. वी नीड टू थिंक, हमें 5 ways we need to think, physically, spiritually, emotionally, socially. These are the aspects we always, whenever we need to care of anyone, we need to give regard to these 4-5 parameters. Then we can easily connect with the other person, and we can generate the good ecosystem, as in for wellness, for well-being.
You're much right. And as far as our family is concerned, I particularly want to talk about the marital relationships. What kind of impact of climate change on the marital relationship? I've just learned in some article that in summers we have seen more divorces, not not in winters. Why is that so?
Because that time the human responses toward loved one getting very detached. Because a person get self-centered and self-approached based, that I need to be taken, मुझे हवा चाहिए, मुझे ठंड चाहिए, मुझे self-centered, more self-centered, and the aggression and violence feelings goes up. Aggression, and when aggression, गुस्सा तो इसलिए हराम करा दिया गया. When it comes, you are unable to settle it down, and that create the heated the moment, and that goes into. I request all of my clients and even community, 12 minutes of your life, starting of any of aggressive and any of episode where you feel not comfortable in, manage 12 minutes. 12-minute emotion management therapy, it's really called. When you manage these 12 minutes, you can easily. The reason why it's going on, they detached with the physical level because environment is not comfortable, they don't go with each other and toward each other. The second level, they get heated up with the food and everything. We even don't schedule ourselves कि गर्मी आ गई है तो what we should eat and what we should not eat. मैं तो ये खाता हूँ, मैं खाऊंगा ना. These are the feeling. Even meat, any heavy food, that also creates some disaster in under the body and mind. So always in relationship, environment, इसलिए यूजुअली कहा जाता है होल्ड करो, अभी अनाउंस नहीं करना है. डाइवोर्सेस यूज से एक ही आवाज में 10 दफा तुम कह दो तलाक तलाक तलाक, देयर इज नथिंग, क्योंकि उसमें भी फिर खुद वो आ जाते हैं, कुछ फिके आ जाते हैं एवरीथिंग. बट इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग, दिस द रीजन व्हाई divorces are happen in the high temperature, people are disconnected within their self and within their partner. People are not considering good vibes and not receiving any good vibes. Temperature always aggregate human negative instinct. इसीलिए शैतान को आग की आग क्या है?
Right.
And that's why there are so many symbols of our life, but we don't receive it. आग कहते हैं कितने 70 पानी से धुल के ये वाली आग आई है, वो वाली आग तो कैसी होगी. So there are so many things in relationship happens. Always I suggest in high temperature, even high temperature is the thing when you don't find any fan and you are discussing very important matter, hold on, don't discuss. Don't go with that heat moment.
Right.
That can create a disaster for yourself and for your partner as well. This partnership actually is like for granted. Usually we take it for granted. No? That's why we are not focusing. Although this institution is the base of whole relationships. We don't understand, we don't rely, we don't accept, we don't even trust. There are so many things. Heat of the moment, you go for the negative results of your life. And later on, many of divorces, they regret on this thing. I should not do it.
Right, you're very much right. Exactly. That's why there's a big punishment. If you want to just consult back, then it's a big punishment that what you need to do, and these are the harsh practices, so that you will learn some lessons.
Significant parameters
Exactly.
you need to follow.
Right.
Otherwise, you will not review to your partner.
Exactly.
So, Islam tells us everything, but we don't know about Islam.
You're much right.
Related to specifically marital issues.
Exactly.
We only know तलाक 3 दफा होती है.
Right.
We don't know कि रुजू कैसे करना है, तलाक के बाद की ड्यूरेशन क्या है, nothing.
Exactly.
We always go with some short term players and things. हमें ये पता है कि लहंगा किसका पहनना है.
Agree. Exactly. We know that brand, but we don't know about what are the real teachings of Islam.
Yes.
And just want to know that how we can change our inner climate.
Thought system. Your thought structures, your feelings and your emotion needs clarifications and clearance. We are confused. We are not sure. We always hanging up with the option A, B, C, 3 plans. When we don't have the crystal clear, mind always wants a clarity. When mind don't have clarity, mind always jumps to 1 option, 2 option, 3 option, 4 option.
Right.
Give your mind, if you wanted to give peaceful environment to your mind, first you need to give clarity. Whatever you are doing, don't ambiguate. We always get confused and doing work.
Right.
Yes or no. मैं हमेशा client कहते हैं no, midway. In the thought pattern there is no midway. You can do it या you can't do it. न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर रिलीज करना है या न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर रिलीज नहीं करना, उसके पास बीच में जैसे स्पार्क होता है ना, मैं उर्दू में एक्सप्लेन इस लेवल को करूंगी, करंट छोड़ता है दिमाग और स्पार्क करके चैनल करता है. बीच में हैंगिंग स्पार्क रुक नहीं जाता, फ्रीजिंग वाला नहीं है. फ्रीज इज द ब्रेन फोग. ब्रेन फोग इन आवर कम्युनिटी इज जैसे कहते हैं ना, हम समझ नहीं आ रहा. एंड यूजुअली व्हेन क्लाइमेट इज हाई, आवर ब्रेन फोग इज गेटिंग सो मच हाई. व्हेन वी कांट take decisions, we can't foresight future, we can't think on the healthy patterns. This is brain fog. And our many of, it's not the 95 wali thing, many of our population is in brain fog. They are unable to decide what to do.
You're much right. And if we have a look on the outer world, as I always try to connect what are the best practices that we have adopted and what are the best practices that the international practitioners have adopted. Yes. What do you think? You have worked with the international practitioners also, and you have attended many workshops with them. What do you think? What are the best practices they have adopted to make mood disorders much better and to make the inner changes much possible?
First, they meditate and relax their mind. They give time to their mind to relax and hold on. We don't give. Even in our namaz, we are rushing.
Right.
We don't give time to our mind. First thing, that's the deterioration of our right now generation. That's why we are getting very, Islam mein mayusi haram hai, but we are mayus.
Exactly.
We are not, we don't have capacity to understand other point of view. We always jump, mera suno. We wanted to explain and we wanted to, try to, जैसे कहते हैं ना, अपने आप को साबित करने के चक्रों में हम जिंदगी गवा देते हैं. So internationally, when we meet with them, usually they just bring their cup of tea. They don't order for cup of tea. If there is a kettle and everything, they go and they mix their tea and coffee, and they come and they in talking and in working team they don't order do chai le aana chote,
Exactly.
they work, they do their own small works as our Hazrat Pak Sallallahu are doing in our life, in his life. So I learned that the small practices makes us comfortable, not dependent in our house chore. The ecosystem is why in relationship is damaging. The husband always expect इस्त्री हुए होंगे कपड़े, कप बना होगा, खाना बना होगा, everything. Although there are responsibility, the women should be do. It's not the thing I used to do. Even I used to cleaning of toilet as well. It's totally fine.
Exactly.
It's totally fine to take responsibilities of your, but it's not the thing always expect the other will do.
Right.
They do their own work, the small practices, small things, and they distribute things, their works between them. We don't distribute.
Like
हम चेयर में बैठे तो कुर्सी हमारी है. मतलब एक एग्जाम्पल ऑफ स्मॉल, इवन एक मातहत बनाते हैं हम किसी खरूब का भी ना, he or she is having the feeling that I am the one. They are my employer now.
Exactly.
We don't equalize each other. Although internationally support element, even they are making us to learn to just social system and everything. Although this is our basics.
Exactly.
Our सुनना learn makes us social system कैसे create करना है,
Right.
कैसे connect होना है. So there are things. One thing, we don't take responsibility of our small chores. Small chore, even bringing a glass of water.
Right.
I'm just giving an example of small level. Second thing, we always blame to other. They don't. They clarify their own things. Even sometimes they also go into the guilt and regret. That's why depression is high there. But they clarify things. We don't. We expect, assume and under rakhna. We don't have a proper communication to communicate other.
Right.
We don't have a good words to communicate each other in a very conflictive zone. They well-being disturbed on that level. Why in our workspace many people are unhappy? Because they actually, whatever they are practicing relationship at their home, they try to picturize and officially they are practicing that way at their workspace. And workplace is disturbing everywhere. Not only on the public institute, in a private, in a public institute, you will see the working class is major in a depression level, in an anxiety level due to workspace. And the relationship, what is going on with the boss, with the lead, with the manager, whatever going on. Toxicity within the communication.
Exactly.
And toxicity in the workspace creates a bad climate for well-being.
You're much right. And as we are running short of time, what do you think? What is your message to our audience, and how we can create some betterment and some beautiful impacts on this climate, not only the outer one but the inner one also?
Imagery, जितनी भी उर्दू में थोड़ा सा पहले मैं बोलूँ,
Right.
अंदर से निकलता है. Mother language, my mother language is not English, that's why. So specifically when we see any nature picture, video, movie, we fascinate. Try to connect with the nature per day. Any किसी तरह से किसी दरख्त को देखना है, visualize करना है, imagine करना है. Because our roots are connected with our mother. And mother is our earth. When we connect, usually when you कहते हैं ना करंट छोड़ना शुरू कर देते हैं हाथ, because of many electric charges, and there is a significant disease as well. So when you connect and आप अपनी body को, हाथ को नीचे रखते हो और body consumes and detoxify yourself, energize करता है. सजदा क्यों कहा गया? So everything is connected. Connect with nature. My last message, if you wanted to detoxify your mind and body, connect with nature. Connectivity is not only the कहीं से सफर करके एयरप्लेन करके कनाडा जाया जाए या किसी नेचर साइट्स पे जाया जाए. It's the park.
Hmm.
It's anything where you can connect with the nature, like hawa, plant, anything.
Hmm.
Make you comfortable. Your ecosystem will be built, your wellness will be connected, and your well-being can be generated within the system, and you can take care of yourself then. Otherwise, climate changes is going, हम 60-70 तक एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं अब टेम्परेचर.
Right.
ये अगले 2 सदी में 3 सदी में कुछ भी फिक्स नहीं होने वाला.
Hmm.
फिक्स होने वाला है वट एवर यू कैन कनेक्ट, वट एवर यू कैन कंट्रीब्यूट. दिस इज द थिंग. एंड मेक योर बॉडी रेजिस्टेबल. धूप में निकला करें ताकि आप लोग तैयार हों अगली उस चीज के लिए. सन ब्लॉक ही लगा के सही, बट निकले. डेफिनेटली प्रोटेक्टिव मेजर्स करें. देयर इज नीड प्रोटेक्टिव मेजर्स, बट यू नीड टू मेक योर जेनेटिक्स, क्योंकि आगे ट्रांसफर करके आपने जो बच्चे लाने हैं ना, दैट नीड्स टू बी एस्टैब्लिश्ड. दे मस्ट बी रेडी फॉर क्लाइमेट चेंज. Protection, prevention, promotion, everything is at their level, but you need to contribute at your level.
Thank you so very much,
Pleasure.
psychologist Sobia Khatib, and the audience. She is indeed a very renowned personality, and whenever we love to invite her, she keep on engaging ourselves and yourself to how to get and how to mitigate all these situations that are just correlated with ourselves and with our surroundings. And undoubtedly, the climate has a big impact on ourselves, whether it's connected to our livelihood, whether it's connected to our finances, whether it's connected to our financial dividends. Everything is just connected and correlated. And that's why we just chose today's topic, as we were just discussing what should be the topic of today. And as we have some mood disorders, we have witnessing on daily basis that as the weather pattern changes, our mood patterns also changes, and that's why they are correlated. And with the rise of temperature, we are also feeling the rise of angers in ourselves. And the best practices she has just narrated, and that we need to enhance our abilities. We need to promote what goodness is just prevailing in our inner selves.
Yes.
And that's how we are receiving, and how we are receiving, that depends on ourselves. And of course, there are many best practices internationally, but how we can compete that, just but trying to have creating some positive element in ourselves, and rather just creating some negativity. And there's an international research from Howard University, and it was being conducted about the positive situations and during the negative situations. And they just said that only 8% in the world, they always try to say if something happens positive to them. But if something happens negative to them, they try to rate them with 20% of the people, or more than 20 people. So these are the practices not only in Pakistan but everywhere in the world. And what we need to do, we need to create positivity in our inner self, to bring not only the climate change and climate justice to the outer atmosphere, but our inner self either. And indeed, as she has just quoted about Islam, and Islam is a best practice religion undoubtedly, and everything is just just sophisticatedly managed, and just talked about in Islam more openly, that how we can manage ourselves, how we can manage our society, how we can how we can just deal with our social and civic responsibilities, and what is hukukul ibad and what is hukukullah. Everything is just in detail in Islam. So try to follow that either, and try to have your inner self calm, cool, and always try to pass that to the outer world, to the others, so that they could have a good practice, and they could have learn from you what you have learned from others. So these are the things that we need to do. And last but not the least, as I always say, that try to plant a tree, and not only try to plant a tree, but try to adopt a tree like a baby you do, and try to care it until it get grown, and it can have the resources to be managed by itself and by the nature that has been provided to it. So these are the contributions, some minor contributions that we can make, and of course it could bring a massive change in the world. With this, dear audience, we're just signing off. Allah Hafiz, fi amanillah, and stay blessed. And thanks so very much once again.
Pleasure always.